Hi, I'm the Scrub and you're here for one reason. So did you find treasure on Hullbreaker Isle? No? Oh, well that sucks. I was hoping for a cut of what you'd find. But you know, it's good to hear that you've made use of it and turned it into a training facility. Nothing says good light-hearted training like slaughtering everything in your path. Time to learn about Hullbreaker Isle Hard. Simplified. First up is 4 raptors. They don't really do anything other than conal AoEs called Foul Breath. After you defeat them, the door will open and you'll come across a mammoth and 2 dodos. The dodos will cast Foul Stench, which is a conal AoE that will give an accuracy down debuff that is incinerable. The mammoth will cast Resinous Blast, which is a very large AoE that gives an incinerable paralysis debuff, but this cast can be stunned. Kumi will pull all players into melee range of the mammoth and begin casting Seismic Rift, which is a medium-sized point-blank AoE. Just move out of the AoE to avoid it, or you can stun the cast. Once you've gotten the mammoth down below 50% health, it will create a medium-sized puddle at its feet. Any enemy that is standing in this will gain a haste buff, which quickens its attacks and a damage up. Just drag it out of the puddle to get rid of the buffs. Once everything has been defeated, the path will open up. 4 jackals will be released from cages. Pick these up and continue up the path until you get to the curl. The curl will almost immediately put the haste and damage up puddle at its feet, so move it out of the puddle to avoid it getting these buffs. The curl can also cast Mega Blaster, which is a conal AoE that will give you an incinerable paralysis debuff if you get hit by it. An additional haste and damage up puddle will be created when you get the curl below 50% health. Defeat the curl to open the gate. First boss time. 3 marauders will spawn in. The larger of the 3 will cast Iron Tempest with a small point-blank AoE around itself. This will cause a small knockback if you get hit by it. After these 3 have been defeated, there will be 2 machinists and a curl that will spawn in. The curl will tether itself to the healer, and every time it casts Pounce, it will cause a stack of damage up to itself and cause the healer to be hit with a healing potency down debuff. The machinists on the outside will cast narrow straight line AoEs through random players. If you get hit with these, it will give you an incinerable Vuln stack for everyone you get hit by. Periodically, when and after the 3rd wave spawns in, there will also be 5 AoEs that will be created in different patterns around the arena. If you get hit by any of these AoEs, it will give you a Vuln stack. There will be several waves of enemies and curls until the fight ends. Pick up the gorillas and the tiger and proceed around the corner to the gate where there'll be 2 more gorillas waiting for you there. Watch out for the gorillas on the outside, which will cast small AoEs on random players. Also, watch out for the tiger, as his tank buster, Catching Claws, is a cleave. Defeat everything for the other gorillas to come down and attack you. Defeat those gorillas and the gate will fall. Jump down into the cave where you will meet 3 slugs. Dodge their conal AoEs and watch out for the small circular AoE called Excretion, which will give you the incinerable slow debuff if you get hit by it. When all 3 slugs are defeated, the wall will disappear. Second boss time. Blanket Thunder is a room-wide AoE. Head Snatch is a tank buster. 2 players will be tethered together with Lightning Chain. These players will receive dot damage every second they are tethered. To break this, you will need to run as far away from each other as possible. I recommend stacking up as a party before this goes out so the tether doesn't need that much distance to break. The boss will cast small AoEs around the arena, which will leave a small slime puddle in its place. Following this, a number of players will be targeted with a red marker above their head. The boss will then cast Mega Volt. When this cast finishes, it will cause a very heavy hit on the people who have a red marker. Whoever has a marker needs to step into a slime puddle before the cast finishes. This will cause the debuff Fetters, which means you'll be unable to move for several seconds. However, you will completely dodge the Mega Volt. The boss will cast Flash Freeze and have a pulsating circle from their location. In a few seconds, the entire arena will be frozen, and when you move, you will slide across the arena instead of walking. The boss will give several players an ice icon above their head with a small AoE around them while casting Iceberg. This will create an ice boulder at the feet of those players. After a few seconds, they will explode in a large AoE and give every player hit by an AoE an incinerable vulnerability up debuff, so make sure if you get this ice marker that you get away from the middle of the arena towards a wall and then get away from the boulder after it drops at your feet. The boss will repeat mechanics until it has been defeated. Jump down the cliff to continue. The first test will see you face Low Tide and High Tide. They will both cast Barbaric Surge and get a damage up buff at the start of the encounter, but these can be stunned. Both of them will do Overpower, which is a conal AoE, Iron Tempest, which is the circular AoE with a knockback, and Rive, which is the narrow straight line AoE. Defeat both soldiers to open the gate. The second test will have you come across 3 ninjas. One of them will cast Hide, become untargetable, and hit whoever they are targeting with the incinerable debuff of Flesh Wound. Another will cause you to be hit with an incinerable poison debuff, and the other one thought Ninja was a ranged class and will spam throwing daggers at you. Defeat all 3 ninjas to open the gate to the next area. Next up is the Storm Commander. She can also cast Barbaric Surge, which gives her a damage up, and then she will perform Raging Rush, which is just a fell cleave. And after that, she will have a small point-blank AoE around her called Madness, which is just Decimate. She will repeat mechanics until she has been defeated. Make your way up the stairs to the final boss. Galadian Ram is a big cleaving tank buster, so don't stand with a tank. Mail Strike is a room-wide AoE. Gumboro Splitter will spawn several small AoEs around the arena. Quickly move out of them to dodge them. The boss will repeat these mechanics until you get it below 70% health. He will then change form into Mistbeard. He will give every player an unincinerable poison debuff called Dirty Venom and then spawn 8 chests around the arena. 4 of them will contain bombs and 4 of them will contain antidotes. All players will need to quickly locate and run through a chest that has an antidote to cleanse themselves of the Venom debuff. I would also advise to stay away from the other chests until the move Bullet Hell has finished casting. Spreadshot is a cleaving tank buster, so don't stand with the tank. Mistbeard will target one player with crosshairs. This player will get a heavy debuff on them, followed by an AoE at their feet called Grenado Shot. Healers will need to quickly Asuna the heavy debuff so the affected player can dodge out of the AoE, and this AoE can potentially one-shot anyone under geared or anyone that still has a poison debuff. off. When Mistbeard throws his hand in the air that generates a pulse, it will spawn several fire sand kegs into the arena. He will target one of them and cause it to explode. The kegs are targetable and you can push them away from the rest of the group to ensure that you have a big safe area to be in. You just need to stand away from that particular keg when it explodes to dodge it. Any exploding keg or an AoE or tank buster from Mistbeard can cause any remaining kegs left around the arena to explode. I personally like to group them all up when Mistbeard targets the first keg so they all explode at the same time and keep the arena as keg free as possible. Be sure to move away from these exploding kegs as being caught in one explosion hits super hard. Mistbeard will repeat mechanics until he has been defeated. Congratulations, you have beaten Hullbreaker Isle again. My name is A Scrub. Thank you for watching.